Joe presents Liquid Football, sponsored by Paddy Power.
Hello, welcome to Liquid Football on Joe together with Paddy Power. It's the show that takes you inside the dressing room and puts you in the boots of the players. Joining me this week, Wes Brown, Luis Garcia and Wayne Bridge. And we do have an early casualty in Wayne. We're not going to give too much away.
I'm smiling now, wasn't 2 minutes
No, you
ago.
won't. But we won't go into it because all will be revealed in the Paddy Power Challenge a bit later on. So we are, though, going to start at Goodison. The 1-1 draw between Everton and Tottenham, but when we can't go any further without mentioning the injury to Andre Gomes. It's horrible, and I don't think any of us have gone back and watched it again, but we saw it happening, and you just can't do anything else except wish him the best.
Yeah, these, I don't think it was a very, I don't think Son meant it. Not by any chance. I don't think he's that sort of character, and you could see how disappointed he was as well, but it's a horrible injury. You could see on the players' faces the way they reacted. I've actually been in that situation with Alan Smith as well, and seen how he reacted to it.
That was the game against Liverpool Anfield,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
I was there.
He was there, yeah. And it's a horrible thing. And I mean, never mind what you're thinking about once he tries to get back and his fitness back. It's just at the time, his foot is completely out, and you just wish him all the best, you know what I mean? I don't think any player would wish it upon anyone, regardless of the game or the opponent. So yeah, I mean, it's one of them cases that does happen now and again, which is just very unlucky.
And it's for everybody. When you are on the field, it doesn't matter if he's on your team. Of course, if he's on your team, he's your teammate, you feel a bit more. But when all happened, the feeling after it happened, it was horrible. Everybody was looking at each other. Even though there is one of the biggest games that you can play, the feeling of an injury like that one is very bad, and it's true that of course you never want something to happen to a player like this one, and it's a bad feeling for everybody on the pitch.
But when you go back into the dressing room, and you know that's happened to one of your teammates, is the result almost irrelevant in that situation?
Yeah, in a way, because all you just want to know if he's okay, what's happened. Is he gonna be okay? Is always one of the first questions. And even being honest, when Alan Smudger did come back, he wasn't exactly the same. He wasn't the same player. It's one of them injuries that maybe traumatises you really a little bit. And I mean, I hope everything goes completely fine for Gomes, but it is a bad one, which you don't wish on anyone.
Yeah, I think I broke my ankle and dislocated it and my leg, and I remember the surgeon saying to me, "You might not make it back from this." I think with surgeons, they're always worst case scenario.
I think they have to be, don't they?
Yeah, but I don't think my ankle has never been the same. I never had the same movement in it. But I know surgeons are always getting better and better. I think he'll get the right treatment, but he'll have to work really hard at his rehab, because I don't think the movement's ever going to be just saying because it looks so nasty.
I've heard a couple of people talking about it and saying that it's almost
still on fire.
I know. We'll come back to that. We will explain why. But I've heard a couple of people talking about that and saying that it's always there somewhere in the background that this could happen. This could happen to anyone at any time, particularly something like the way this happened to Andre Gomes, because as we said, it doesn't look like there was any intent from Heung-min Son. So for you to go into hospital, to have the surgeon there and have when they say to you at that moment, we don't know if we're going to make you better enough, we don't know if you're going to be well enough ever to play football again, that moment, it must be frightening as much as anything else.
Yeah, I think so. You can have all the injury insurance that you want, but you want to be playing football. I think I struggled being around all the lads, because seeing someone play football every day. Chelsea were great with me. They used to send me away. I went to Spain and France and had treatment over there at camps. But yeah, for me, I had to be away until I got better. I could start doing proper stuff and be outside. I struggled to be around the lads and see everyone running around kicking a football.
Is it something that sort of is always there in the back of your mind that it could happen?
To be honest, when you jump on the pitch, you don't think that something is going to happen to you. Even when you got a muscle problem and stuff, you think a little bit in the beginning, oh, you have just to be careful here or there to don't have a tear or pull in a moment. But when you are on the field, you just forget about everything. It doesn't matter if you feel sore your ankle or whatever. You never think that you're going to get injured.
When I did my first cruise ship, Obviously, it was a bad cruise. It was in '99. So nowadays, I mean, it's pretty simple.
totally
You're
different,
pretty much back in 6 months, maybe even a bit sooner. The gaffer was like, "Yeah, go and see the surgeon." He said, "Right, it needs to be done." I didn't really think much of it because you think it's been done before. And I remember going in for this to get it done, and this woman obviously read this thing out on the which I had to sign, so I read it, and it's like, if this doesn't work, this might not work. And I was thinking, whoa, what's this? Do you know what I mean? You're actually there thinking, what's this? And she goes, oh, it's just if anything goes wrong, that it's just to say that, you know, it wasn't our fault. But that's the first time I thought, wow, I might never play again. Luckily, it went fine, and everything.
But at that moment.
Yeah, because I didn't want to. I think in your head you don't want to think about it. You just like, everyone's like, right, we can do this operation, we can get it done. There's so many people come back nowadays. If this would have been 5-10 years ago, you pretty much would have been finished. But that's the only time I really thought about it as I'm going in for surgery, and I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Which I signed it anyway, and luckily everything was fine. But like you said, that first one, it took me 12 months to come back. Yeah. Mentally, just handling, even going in, and then like you said, the gaffer's like, go on holiday, go and take 2 weeks out, and then you come back and you get back into it. But it's so frustrating when the lads are all going out and you're not sure if you're going to come back 100% as well. You know, you still got to do all your rehab and then get on the pitch and then sort of start again.
The way I saw it described was like starting a marathon that you don't know if you're going to finish.
That's a very good way of putting it, yeah.
I thought that. Sam White said that, so she's on Twitter, so she sees it. The other side of it is, and obviously everybody's thoughts are with Andre Gomes and thinking about him and his recovery and the effect that it could have on him. But as you said, even if you're just on the pitch with another player, that happens to, it's going to have an effect on you. For Son and for Aurier, who was substituted afterwards, and I think that, you know, Son, they changed it from a yellow card to a red card, and that potentially could have been overturned by VAR. Tottenham potentially could appeal that. We'll come to the sort of, you know, the technicalities of it in a second, but just on a human level, the effect that it could have on him. And Aurier wasn't even involved in the injury itself. He was in the aftermath.
Yeah, exactly what we were talking just before. I mean, you're on the field, and I'm talking about the players who were not involved even on that challenge. Players who are next to it, you can see all of them just putting the hand on the head, and because it's a very bad feeling. I cannot imagine what a Son was thinking of, because we all know, I don't know him personally, but I know the way he behaved on the pitch, the way he behaves off the pitch, and you can see the frustration. You can see that he was feeling very, very bad. He was devastated when he was on the field, almost on tears. And after what happened with the red card, that's different stuff. But just the feeling of knowing that you probably have injured for a bad injury to a teammate, or even though there is from the other team, is a very bad situation. I was feeling for him as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard not to, isn't it?
Yeah, you definitely don't want him to go into the next game though worrying about making a challenge, but he maybe is going to be like, maybe he would have to speak to someone to get over it. I don't know, but you know, I couldn't watch the
have that sort of formal counselling or psychotherapy available.
Everyone would be
to them,
making sure he's okay as well. But it's so difficult, like, for it, because he looks so upset. There'll be players that kind of deal with it and phone up the player and say sorry and be able to get on with it, but he did look really cut up. I couldn't watch the replay back because I don't like to see stuff like that, but for me watching it, he didn't look like he meant to really hurt him or anything like that. I don't think anyone did.
It's a really difficult situation, and it is going to be really hard for them, and as they sort of come to terms with it. But there are the sort of practical considerations about the application of, well, there was VAR potentially involved in that situation about whether or not they could overturn the yellow. The Premier League have said that it was about endangering an opponent, and given that he was endangered, Andre Gomes, then you might not agree with it, but you can see their argument in that case. VAR could have got involved there, and they did get involved. They have not, the video assistant referees have not had a good weekend in terms of PR, in terms of anything. And honestly, the only thing more frustrating than VAR is a big VAR chat. So let's keep this really quick, because it's just, it's a problem that is there that needs to be fixed. So where do we stand at the moment? Do we think that in principle, giving the assistants a video assistant referee, giving the referees a video assistant referee to help them is a good idea at all? Do you think it's a good idea or not?
No.
No?
Goal line I go for, but nothing
more?
It's too much that they are sort of involved in. So I think the ref gets it. If it's a penalty, yes, they can do that bit, but on the...
Well, you say that.
They get it
you
wrong.
You say that,
no,
but that
penalty.
But just quick, just so we know where we are, do you broadly think it's a good idea? We're not talking about how it's been applied in the Premier League.
Exactly. I think it's a good idea, even though in Spain it's been working already for a couple of years, and the people are still complaining because at the end, you're going to get angry, one of the supporters or one of the teams, and it's more people deciding what is happening on the pitch. I mean, it's not that it's a goal line technology, there's a machine saying, yes, it's goal, no, it's not. It's people understanding or try to analyze in a situation. So it means that before we had one that had to decide that it was the referee. One people, and we complain. Now we got two people that have to get each other in the same understanding. So it's two people that maybe we won't agree. So at the end, it's too many things happening, and it's still the same thing. People is going to get angry.
I'd love to know a conversation, what they go through.
Yeah, you can hear it. Broadcasters have access to it, but they don't put it out on television.
I'd love to know if the refs go in. I'm saying that's a foul. What do you think? And he's going, yeah, it might be. I'm not
you
sure.
could go, They would, if you genuinely wanted to, you could phone them up and say, "Can I come in and listen?" Because they've run these media days at Stockley Park. If any of you've been on them, because you go along and you hear the kind of conversations, and actually they're not that interesting. Mostly, it's them sort of going, "Yeah, no, we're satisfied that isn't a penalty. Check complete." It's more just kind of like a boring monologue in the background.
Checking it, is it? There's a couple of people.
Yeah, so
we can all be sat here. Two of us say it's a penalty, two say it's not. Yeah. It's like, what do you do then?
And then it's supposed to come down to the on-field referee. And what's happened? Yes, and what happened was that they were going one way. It was like, we daren't overturn what the on-field referee says, even when it looks horrifically wrong. And now they're saying, well, we're going to overturn it no matter what happens. It all seems a bit of a mess
at the moment. It's just not consistent, is it though?
Yeah, for me, just the point that we are trying to use the make quicker the game, make faster the game. So the keepers have to do it fast. The throw, the kickoff, the throwing has to be fast. The changes have to be fast. But then you spend 3 minutes on just reviewing one of the plays. I mean, what we want, quick and fast football. But then you cannot stop 3 times for 3 minutes because it's no point. So sometimes you don't understand where is football going through.
Does it need to be like this in order to perfect? I mean, you don't want it in football at all.
Ref a game and that's it.
But if it is going to be here, and it looks like it, I mean, there's no chat about getting rid of it, apart from people wanting to get rid of it. But what I mean is, at official level, there's no chat about getting rid of it. So does it need to have this season, maybe even if it's sorted by Christmas, fingers crossed, but does it have to have a season to settle before we judge it?
Maybe.
But I read they've been talking that they're going to have a meeting between teams and Premier League. So
I think they had a managers one. Frank Lampard was saying at the weekend they had a managers one just recently.
But isn't it always going to come down to someone's opinion if that was a penalty, if that was a foul? So all you're doing is getting more people involved.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to have different opinions.
There. And that's all you're really looking for as a fan, even as a player, consistency. On VAR, that says a penalty. This game he doesn't give it. It's pretty similar. Why is it different?
Exactly.
And
that's where you can't
that clear and obvious message that they hammered into everybody right from the beginning seems to have gone out the window. I don't know what's happened to that. Here at Joe, we are very excited because we have a live Liquid Football event. It's going to take place on Thursday. That's the 7th of November at Hinterlands on Man Street in Liverpool. It starts at 6:30. The tickets are free. We're going to build up to the first game of the season between Liverpool and Manchester City. We'll be joined by David James and Steve Sidwell, and a surprise guest who has been one of the stars of Liverpool's season so far. I don't even know who that is. We'll also have a panel on how Liverpool and Man City has become English football's biggest rivalry. It features some of the teams from the Anfield Wrap and Blue Moon Rising. So if you go to the Liquid Football Facebook page, you'll be able to get more details on that, of how to get your free tickets. Liverpool and Manchester City then will be very much the centre of the live event. But we have to talk about them this week as well, because the fact that they both went a goal down, and I think that the expectation was that they would both come back into that game. People who weren't watching, you assume that those two sides are going to be able to come back into the game. But, oh my gosh, I'm not sure everybody thought that they would come back in the way that they did. City left it late-ish, and Liverpool, 87 and then injury time for their goals, which is just unbelievable. The way that they've been able to get those wins. Yeah. You played in a Manchester United.
No, I'm telling you, I hate saying it, but I'm telling you, I can feel it. Liverpool won it. I feel like Liverpool won it this year. Missed out massively. They do, yeah. They missed out massively last year. Some of the games that they played, they've not necessarily been brilliant. I mean, there's certain players that have, but they're getting wins. Scary.
But it's
don't like it.
But it's the late wins as well. I mean that will ring a bell with you, won't it?
Yeah, of course, and that's just players that want it. You know, they're not giving up. I mean, the fullbacks, for instance, these guys are playing wingers. Do you know what I mean? And we were talking about it a little bit earlier. There's spaces in behind there to maybe get into, but people are so scared of him nowadays. The wingers are following him because they don't want them to get in them positions because they're crossing and getting onto the end of crosses themselves. I mean, they've been doing it all season. They've been doing it the last couple of seasons, and you know, these teams that are just more worried about what the fullbacks are doing rather than their own wingers are, and that's where they're getting so much. They're getting so much. I mean, chances and people into the box, and they just don't give up, and that's what's scaring me.
Mind you, City did come back. I know, I can tell. We'll just get it out of the way for you. Let you get it off your chest. But City did it as well. Yeah. This isn't just Liverpool.
And we used to see City. I remember last year I was watching a game of City a few times in a row with my son. And they started losing the game for 1-0. And my kid used to say, come on, maybe there's a chance, because we were expecting City to drop points to see Liverpool getting closer. And I used to tell them, because I knew that it will happen, wait until 66 minutes, 67 and 70 minutes, they will score, and he will say, no, come on. And it was happening every single day. For 3 games in a row, it happened the same. And I'm so happy that this year is kind of Liverpool thing, because you know, even though, like Wes said, they are not playing sometimes in the best way, or they are not the striker. You see that they are in the best moment, but they score goals even until the last minute. And you wait. No one is leaving the stadium 5 minutes before that it used to happen, because they know that it can happen. Last year it was only 1 point behind. It was very close until the end. So this year you know that you cannot drop any points. You know that one draw can make you lose the Premiership. So everybody knows every single game is very important, but it's important to win, because the draw is not enough.
You could make an argument that it was those 2 games against Manchester City which decided which way the league went, and which decided that Liverpool were going to lose out on it. But for Villa and for Southampton leading that late, I mean, you'll have been watching Southampton hoping, especially after the game against Leicester and then being beaten by City in midweek in the EFL Cup as well. But for them to be defending, to go a goal up and think, right, we just need to hold these 2 teams off. It's so hard for you to get yourself mentally in the right place.
I've been at both ends where you play for the top team and like the lower league, lower down the table, and it's frustrating, because you know, they'd be frustrated. They would have worked so hard, but I've been there when there's always that little bit of doubt. You're thinking this is going to be so hard. Whereas if you're at Chelsea and you had to defend and you want to get a result, you feel like they're not going to score. It is so hard, and obviously with like, you know, Liverpool, Man City the weekend, they would never panic. I think, you know, they're going to create chance after chance after chance for the whole 90 minutes. You know, Southampton would think, well, we've got one chance. If we don't score here, we might not get another chance. Whereas they're always creating chances. Southampton know they're always going to create chances. They just couldn't do enough. And obviously, I think the goalkeeper for the last goal probably was a bit gutted. He come for the cross and missed it.
Yeah, we'll talk Southampton goalkeepers in a second. we will
sometimes even when you're playing against a top team, you know that it's sometimes even worse to score a goal, because you score a goal and you want to defend it, and then you start dropping back.
Yeah,
meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
you try to do your plan. You try to go forward. You try to place high. But the moment you score, you think, oh, no, I don't want to lose this, and then you start dropping.
But if they didn't score, they might have lost 9-0. You never.
But to be in that position, and you two have been on both sides of it. But to be in that position where you go a goal up and you think, oh, that's great, and then you celebrate it and you think, right, that's my afternoon sorted then.
The game completely changes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the manager said. You know, most of the time, especially when it was at Sunderland, we'd go out, pretty much go head to head. When, you know, they had a lot of possession, we would drop back, but still in your head mentally, you're like, right, okay, let's play, we get forward. Yeah. If you do score, that's it. It completely goes out the window. Everyone drops back 10 yards. And you're still working hard, and you're just thinking, then it'll get down to the last 15, 10, and you're going, right, let's just defend, clear everything. But the pressure, I mean,
it's hard though, isn't it? It's hard for the team even trying to score. Because we used to do it in training where you play one man down and you defend as case went down to 10 men. And teams find it so hard to score against you when you're really compact. But it just goes to show you how good those teams are at attacking and creating spaces.
And momentum as well. We talk about it all the time in any sort of top level, any kind of sport really. But that sense of when you get the first, then so often the second is not far behind.
Yeah. The reaction of Bravo, he scored the goal and he's flying back. You know, it's only 3 minutes. Probably you will enjoy. In another game, you will enjoy 1-1. Oh, it's fine after what will happen. And he flies back to get the ball and tell the other one to run back to
Aguero similarly, he's got the ball at the net and he's the one running back with
because
it.
They know that
they're going to create another chance.
They're going to get at least one more. Well, that's why you keep going.
John McGinn said that he thought that at one stage, particularly in the first half, he said the Liverpool players were so frustrated. They were just all arguing with each other and getting at each other. And he thought, at that stage, I thought, we might have them here. This is a sign that all is not well, because they're just kind of their tone when they were talking to each other on the pitch.
It can also be a bad thing, though. Because when you're
angry.
thinking when you're thinking, oh, they're all having an argument, this is good. You could drop a level, just a touch, and you think, oh,
if he's gone in training and said we've got him here, then that's the wrong thing to go in and say if he did say it.
Keep this going. We've got him. Just same attitude. Yeah. But then again, you might take your foot off a little bit, and that just gives them all the encouragement to keep going.
But you must have been on the pitch though when you feel it's not going right, and everybody starts sort of having a go at everybody else, and fingers are pointed and.
You don't want half time to happen though if it's going right for you. You just don't want it, because you know things can change, especially against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Just waiting for that not to come. Given that we've got you two here, particularly, I thought it'd be nice to focus on fullbacks, because it's completely different. I saw an interview with Jamie Carragher, obviously played more of his career as a centre back, but did play at right back for a while as well. And he said it's a completely different job. Andy Robertson and Kyle Walker scoring at the weekend. It's a different position now, isn't it?
I think the way I play.
I didn't say you never scored. Did you make it into the teens in your assists though? That was
didn't make it such a hard part.
I would say, Bridget, you played a little bit higher up than me. I was more defensive minded. Yes, I would get forward, but not. I mean, these two are these are like different breeds.
I started off as a winger, so
yeah. Well, you would get forward quite a lot, take people on, cross the ball, cut in, 1-2 or whatever.
It all depends on the team and the shape.
Yeah.
So do you think it's that different then from the way that you were asked to play, or the way that you naturally played?
At Southampton it's different. When Glenn Holiday, he always still wanted me to bomb forward, but I'd probably have to defend more. You know, if you're at City and Liverpool, I'm sure they're attacking more than they're defending. But obviously when I went to Chelsea, when we were on top of every team, you had to stay switched on because you weren't doing that much defending against some of the teams.
I also think... Sorry, mate, go on.
No, go on.
No, I also think because the defence that they've got, the two centre-halves, the confidence they've got in him, they're just going, go on, you two go. You know what I mean? I don't have to stand next to him. I know he can deal with a one-on-one. And we've seen him do that for the last 2 seasons now. And then it's just, what do the wingers do? Do we let him go? Do we try and gamble? Which I'm sure people have tried, lost it, and then all of a sudden it's they're doing a 2-on-1. Getting the ball in the net, and we've seen how they can cross the ball. I mean,
or also if you let one go, you go, well, we'll just let one go. But the problem is, if you cover one of them, then they switch to the other side, and then the other one.
It's a different fullback, isn't it? They shoot now.
Before they used to say one fullback goes, the other one close, and then you got 3 at the back. Right now, they both of them hitting crosses to each other.
Yeah.
Also, I think it depends on who you have in front. Normally, now Liverpool is got Salah and Mane on the left side, but because they are so good on the flanks with the fullbacks, now they are not playing anymore on the wide area. We used to see Salah get into the line and from there inside, or Mane the same. But now they are playing in the middle because they are letting a lot of space, because they are having so many chances from there. That is a pity that you stick one player over there and you don't let those fullbacks going forward. So I think they understand very well the way that Liverpool needs to play right now, because the two how you play wingers, they will be Salah and Mane. They are inside, just waiting for the other ones to arrive.
And it's hard for opponents because, come on, if me and you are marking Mane and Salah, they're the best players. So
we ain't even thinking about going forward yet.
If he goes inside, I want to follow him. But now you're thinking, but then he's going to run round, who's just as good quality. So there's big problems everywhere.
It's one of them, if you bomb on as well and the winger doesn't track you, you're half thinking, do I carry on going or not?
Because if we lose it...
Yeah. It's like, you know what I mean? At Southampton, if the winger never comes, I thought, I can't really go. Like you said, if you've got great defence behind you, you can just keep going.
But also, if you're then up against a player who's in two minds like that, then that's all the split second that you need to be able to go and cause problems. This weekend, it's Liverpool against Manchester City. Liverpool 13-8 to win, the draw at 5-2, and Manchester City at 7-5. There's really not much in that at all, is there? Time now for the Paddy Power Challenge. One of you will get the chance to win £250 for the charity of your choice, courtesy of Paddy Power.
That should be me.
Last week, it was Trick or Tweet, which went down incredibly well. The winning bet was yours.
Yeah.
You put it on. Well, you won the Trick or Tweet, but you put a bet on for Wolves to beat Arsenal. I tell you weren't far off.
It's nearly.
You weren't far. It was a 1-1 draw, and they could
We're
maybe.
not doing too well on these.
I know we're not doing well on them. That's it. We could go for easier things.
Yeah, maybe.
And the 1 week we did. In fact, do you know what? The 1 week we didn't. Manchester City lost, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right.
We're just unlucky. This week's challenge is the Tech Ball Chili Challenge. This week's challenge is the Tech Ball Chili Challenge. Tech Ball part of it, self-explanatory. The chili part of it is that if you lose your match, you will have to eat a chili. You have 3 toothpicks, like this. If you pick the long toothpick, you get a bye into the final, and the other 2 will play it out for a place against you in the final.
Oh, get in. Get in. I hate chili.
So when you're playing the final, and Wes and Luis, you will be in the semi-final. You're first up. Let's go.
Go on, then.
A header. That's the first
What's
header
going on
of the game. Oh.
1-0. You like spicy food? There you go.
Luis is through to the final, which means that Wes is taking the chili challenge.
Well done.
Pick your poison.
5. Straight in with the bad boy.
You're going to go straight in with the bad boy. All right, then.
Oh, that's a
So
big bite
this-
as well.
How is it feeling?
It's going hot. The eyes are
Are you
going.
chewing it properly?
Oh, your eyes have gone. His eyes have gone bloodshot.
Oh, you can grab your milk.
It's when your under eyes start to sweat a little
Your
bit.
eyes
That's
are
when you know
gone.
it's hot.
Finish.
And you tune it when you
Yeah,
eat that
it looks
properly.
hot.
It's okay.
There's
No,
you
it's
don't
Man,
want
that's
the milk.
crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna
What's that again?
You can see your eyes start to water.
It's the final. It is Luis Garcia against Wayne Bridge, and this time we want you to call your shots. It's left foot, right foot, knee, header, whatever it is. We want you to call it as you hit it. Okay?
Okay.
Rules as before.
Can't get the chilies out of my head.
You haven't even had one yet. Right. Ready, steady, go.
Okay, Wayne, serve.
Let's go.
Left foot. There you go.
Left foot.
Left foot, left foot.
Left foot. Left foot. Left foot. I'm all left footed. Look.
And
It's gone,
we're
it's gone
going to
through,
need to
sir.
get Steve Peters in for Wayne here.
Right, left, right.
Right. Left. Left. Get down.
Left, right, left.
Left. Head.
Left, right.
Oh, you little. Left.
Right.
This is match point with Wayne to serve.
Left foot.
Left, left.
Left.
Luis is
Head.
on the table.
There you go.
Left.
Hey, keep
Left.
holding.
Left.
And yes!
Is that allowed?
Come on.
Mate.
Well done.
Yeah, a good, no. But wait,
There you go. That's
to the,
fine,
yeah,
that's
back
fine,
there,
that's fine.
and
That's-
properly chew it. No,
Yeah, that.
we won't see it.
There you
getting-
go. There you
Fucking
go.
tongue's burning already.
So what I can tell you about that one is number 1, which is the King Naga Ghost Pepper.
No, you're fucking having a laugh.
And to use the £2,500
You're like you're
jalapeno
joking, aren't you?
scale, this
Oh my
one
God, it's just
is
fucking joke.
855,000 other scales.
Fucking wine up, bro. That's fucking horrible.
That's okay. Yes, keep going. Yes.
Have the hallucinations started yet?
That's okay. Well done.
Fucking hell, that's terrible. Fucking hell, lads. Might need an ambulance. Fucking hell.
Remember your training stuff.
Honestly, I'm starting to sweat.
How's the nose?
No,
It's better. Yeah, it's better. It's getting better.
Fucking hell. I'm alright, mate. It's fucking hot as fuck. Is it really the hottest one as well?
It's about 14 times. Is that right? About 14 times.
That should be illegal, actually.
So, Luis Garcia, you are the winner of the Paddy Power Challenge,
Yes.
the Tech Ball Chili Challenge. Given that we've talked about how unlucky we are at gambling, what's your bet and what's your charity?
Like you said, I went for a good one, easy one, and I'm gonna go for Liverpool to win Manchester City. That is 13-8,
Okay.
and it's double pressure. So very good. I'm gonna try to bring it to a charity. Last time I tried to do it, but it was 1-1, so I couldn't get it. To a real safety, a real fight, and well, hopefully this time I can get it right.
Okay. You're not concerned about the fact that we're really unlucky on this?
Yes.
This is Liquid Football on Joe, together with Paddy Power and Kelly Cates. Alongside me, Wes Brown, Luis Garcia and Wayne Bridge. If you like what you see and hear, then please leave a nice message on iTunes or YouTube. Now, here's John Amici to tell you about his show, Pioneers.
My day job is helping businesses thrive through disruption. This show is not about business. It's about people who go from nothing, a seed of an idea, something that everybody thinks is completely impossible, and build it into this massive business. There are 1,000 different ways to be a huge success. One of the most interesting things that we're learning is that how people are failing is almost as important as how they succeed. In fact, it's integral. It's business. Pioneers is having really honest conversations with people, talking about their business, their objectives, their purpose, whether they're just out to make a ton of money and then quit, or whether they really want to change the world. Pioneers on Joe. Listen to it, download it, watch it. I had nothing profound to say.
You've been watching Pioneers, together with Open Money. Manage it, save it, invest it.
Episode 6 of Pioneers with John Amici is available on Thursday. You can either watch it on YouTube or you can download it from your usual podcast provider. Don't forget to check out Joe's other shows as well, TKO with Carl Frampton and House of Rugby with James Haskell. As promised, we are going to talk Southampton goalkeepers very briefly. Angus Gunn left out of the defeat at Manchester City. He was in goal when they shipped 9 at home to Leicester. Look, it's very hard to be the star of the show when your team concedes 9 goals and you are the goalkeeper. But there was a lot of criticism for him, particularly a couple of the early goals when the game wasn't quite gone. So do you think he'll be angry at being left out, or do you think he'll be relieved to be out the spotlight?
He'd take it on the chin, I think. I think anyone would have to take that on the chin. He'd have probably been sat there thinking, how am I going to get back in the team? Some people might think, I hope they lose. You like to think he wasn't. But the only way of him really getting back in the team after that is the goalie not having a good game.
And
I've mentioned it before. I thought he made a couple of good saves, but I thought for the last goal, maybe he could have got it, or maybe he didn't have to come out. It's a hard one. I'm not a goalkeeper, but he might have quietly been smiling inside that that's a mistake and I might get another chance.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? We've talked before about when you're not quite part of the team, or if you're left out for a couple of games. But for a goalkeeper, when you're in a specialist position like that, from the goalkeepers that you've played with, it's a tougher blow to take, isn't it? Because that's your spot.
Yeah, and it must be very hard for a keeper, because what you always want is the confidence on your keeper. You want to make him feel confident. You want to make him go to get the balls. You want to make him that he gives confidence to the defense. Suddenly you got a bad game, very bad game, we'll say this time, but you cannot point only to the goalkeeper. I think that the 9 goals is not only because of the keeper. You take him away, and what's the confidence you're sending, or what's the message you're sending? If you don't do it well next time that you play, I'm not saying next week or in 2 weeks' time, you're going to get out of the goal again. I don't know. At the end, I'm not a manager yet, but I wouldn't do that. Or at least I will wait a couple more weeks and try to give him again another chance to do better. And if I decide that he's not on goal because I don't want him on goal, then I will do the change a couple of weeks after.
You could have changed the whole 11 as well, by the way. No one turned up.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing, I thought.
Yeah, I'd like to know how it was done, because some managers don't tell you.
What do you mean?
Like,
until they announce the team?
I'm hoping he pulled him on it. He said, listen, I'm going to...
What was he going to say though?
No, but I've seen
I
some
don't know
players
if you're
have a
aware,
bad
but
game,
last
and
week,
A lot of managers will speak to you, I think.
but some don't, do they?
Yeah, no, some definitely
don't. They might tell you the team on a Friday or whether it's a Saturday morning, and then you'll be like, wow, I'm not playing. But he's not. You've been speaking to him all week, but you've not said anything. But with a keeper, I think it's a specialised position. It's a tough one, but I'm guessing he's had a word with him,
sure.
even if it's
But
to
I
like.
think down there they don't even know who their number one keeper is at the moment. Usually, if you're in a team, you usually got a keeper as your number one keeper. I still don't think they know.
Well, you've seen what happened with Adrian at Liverpool. He done so well, but you knew that at a certain point, Alisson will come on and start again.
Yeah, because if you're going to break your record transfer fee, you know who the number one goalkeeper is. But he said maybe less clear cut for Angus Gunn at Southampton. When you talk about managers ignoring you and not ignoring you, when they don't give you a reason for being left out, when they don't even tell you you're going to be left out, if you've played badly the week before and it's a manager who doesn't explain, would you then be sort of trying to find out during the week? Would you go and ask him and just sort
No,
of...
I wouldn't ask him.
Because of
badly, I'm
pride
fine.
or-
Yeah, because I mean, if you knew you played bad the week before anyway, I don't need to ask him. It's me to prove that I can get back on it and I'll be fine. But like I said, I think the older you get, they tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But as a young lad, if I could be playing for like 4 weeks on a bounce and then 1 week I won't be playing, but I know I played bad, then I think you just have to take it and then just work hard again.
I was laughing now because I went once to last. I was young back then in Atletico Madrid with Luis Aragonés. Luis Aragonés is a special character, old school, and I knocked on the door to say because I wasn't playing that weekend. And as soon as I got in, I said, listen, boss, I saw that you're not going to put me in. Why? What did I do? I said, did I? And he told me, did I tell you why I put you in first place last week? I said, no. He said, then you got your answer. Get out. I'm busy. And that's it. That was the answer. Yes, of course. I mean, I didn't tell you why you're in. So why you're asking now. So, and I left and, well, that was a good answer. Never ask again to another coach.
I quite like the idea of players going and knocking on the manager's door. Why are you playing me? What's happening? Why am I in? Why am I in? But what's the worst way that you were ever left out? Was it that last minute decision, just sort of finding that you were just seeing the team sheet go up? Or
I think I spoke about mine before. Mine was mainly getting dragged off at half time and not spoken to.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I know we weren't playing well, but just dragged me off. I was a bit like, really? I didn't think I was that bad.
30 minutes. They took me out 30 minutes after losing 2-0. Yeah, and I thought I was back in Mexico, and I said to the guy, why is that? You weren't getting the ball. I said, but we were losing 2-0, that's not because of me.
No.
But it's a decision they made, and
I never played for a while after.
He was like the same night, so I wasn't worried about it.
I think everyone goes through that at some point, just getting dragged. And it's not necessarily just... I mean, if you're playing really bad and it happens, you've got to sort of go, okay, yeah, whatever. But in general, sometimes you're thinking, me? Like, me? You're going, wow, okay. Do you know what I mean? Because you're thinking, it's 10 other lads here.
So I think, especially when you're a fullback, I think unless the winger is absolutely roasting you every time,
and you think,
I load my hands up, I'm looking around and thinking, what?
It can happen.
Yeah, there's other players playing a lot worse than I am. Talking of performances, more pressure on Unai Emery. A 1-1 draw for them, as we said, at home to Wolves. Afterwards, he said, it was a bad result, but tactically it worked like we wanted. So there'll be a lot of Arsenal fans scratching their heads at that, saying, how can you tactically get the game you wanted when you hadn't had a shot on target for at least the first half an hour of the game? What's he doing there?
Trying to protect the players, for one. But
why is he trying to protect the players?
I don't know. Maybe because of what's happened. Take a bit of pressure off them. He knows that it's getting to that point, or it is at that point, and that's the best way he thought about handling it. But I mean, the fans, I think the Arsenal fans are just getting frustrated in general. That statement's probably not going to help.
But Sherlock.
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know. It's obviously not going right, and they're not getting the results they want. So whether he's going to start changing stuff or not, I don't know. But I don't think he's going to be hammering the players anytime soon, just after what's happened recently.
He's in a really difficult position, Unai Emery.
Well, if you've lost the fans, he definitely ain't going to lose the players, is he?
But that's the thing, is that with the whole Granit Xhaka incident, he was trying to speak about that, but he's trying to keep the fans happy and get them back on board. He's trying to keep the player happy and make sure he's got him on board. And he's trying to keep the rest of the squad happy and make sure that he doesn't lose any more of the players.
I don't get the fans. Like, if I was Xhaka, I wish he hadn't have done nothing, and I wish he had played the following week or the week after, scored, and if they cheered, just stuck 2 fingers up at them.
Yeah, I think he might wish that too.
That's what I would have rather he would have done. Do you know what I mean? It's fans, they're so bad, really, I think, just booing your own players.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was a kind of we talked about that, but it was a sort of frustration with the fact that he wasn't coming off the pitch quickly enough. I did read there's a piece in the Irish Times by Ken Earlys that said that Mourinho is probably the best person, or there is an argument to say that Mourinho is the best person for Arsenal at the moment because he's like the ultimate troll. So for everything that's going on there, it'd be like, do you know what? If you don't want this sort of nice guy Unai Emery who comes in and tries to sort of play nice football and it's just an extension of the Wenger era, tell you what, let's go full 180 and go to the Jose Mourinho school.
Be interested.
No, it's a pity, to be honest, because I know I played with Emery back on the days, and to be honest, for me, it's not. When I see him trying to explain, because also he's got the trouble of the language. You know, it's very difficult to go down a press conference trying to make a full explanation of what I wanted the players to do or how I wanted to play. I think he was so frustrated. So sometimes it looks like he's trying to defend Xhaka and then defend the supporters and then also the chairman and also the players. So sometimes it's very difficult to see what way he's having.
But even without the language barrier, that's a tightrope to walk as well, isn't it?
Yeah, very difficult. Because at the end, you have to put your faith. You are the manager, and you have to get your way, and you have to forget about the supporters or about what is the most important for you and go with it. And sometimes when you see that it's going one way or the other way, it's very difficult to see it.
What do you think? Is Unai Emery? Do you think they'd be starting to look elsewhere at Arsenal? Should they be starting to look elsewhere?
I don't think so yet. Not yet. I mean, you've got to give him time. Yes, the results have been disappointing, but I don't think every time there's a problem, you go, right, okay, get rid of the manager. And that's happening more often now, and that's the way the game's sort of gone. But I think you've got to give him time, a little bit more time. You know, he spent some money, and maybe these players are not playing up to standard yet, which we know they're not. So I think you've got to give most of them time. But it is, I mean, it's Arsenal.
Yeah.
They're expecting stuff. They're expecting to win things. They want to see good football. They want to see results. They want to see goals. And this has been going on for years now. So
I think they're looking to see progress as well, isn't it? It's not just that they want to be challenging at the top of the Premier League table right at this second necessarily. It's that they want to see that they're moving in the right direction towards that, and they feel that that's not happening.
But they play well. You've seen
some good football.
Exactly, good football, and the lack of consistency is what I think they worries the most. Some games that you think that they will do well, and suddenly, I mean, there is 2 or 3 players that they don't show up, and I think that's the big problem. Because to be honest, in the beginning of the season, I saw a couple of 3 games that I saw, oh wow, they're coming back, and then went down a little bit. So consistency is
it can take time.
Yeah.
You know, Man City getting to the top, it took them time. It didn't happen overnight.
But it's not the time. It's what's happening in that time, isn't it? Rather than, you know, it's not just saying, right, we're going to look at where Arsenal are as a snapshot right now. It's okay. Well, what direction have they gone in? And Arsenal fans are looking at it and saying, sideways, really, since Arsene Wenger went.
Yeah.
Well, Klopp said when he arrived, he said that I need some time. If you want me to get trophy, I need some time. In the first year, he said, I need players to play the way that I want to play. At the moment, I cannot play the way I want to play with this player. And well, it's been 3 years, and well, finally we saw things last year with the. I mean, we've been seeing things happening with Liverpool, but the trophy arrived last year. So now everybody is happy and everybody, but in the beginning of that first year, not everybody was happy. In the second year, not everybody was happy. So I guess you need to give a little bit of time to Unai Emery to see if really what he wants to build on Arsenal is going to make them go to Premier League.
Do you ever get a sense in a dressing room that's it, that a manager's gone beyond kind of getting time to do his job? I'm not suggesting that's necessarily what's happening at Arsenal.
If I was a player, I'd kind of say it was our fault as well, not just the manager's fault.
But what I mean is does there come a point where you think, I can't see any way back for him here now? Because you're all talking about the manager's future.
Yeah. But I'm talking about lower down the league with Sunderland. I can see that. Yeah. But for Arsenal, who are, You know, they're fighting at the top. They want to be at the top, and it's not necessarily happened for you. That would be the difficult thing. I mean, when you find at the bottom, I mean, managers can lose players like that. You know, like that, and then it.
How many goals do you want that's snapping your fingers?
What, I do that 7 times. How many managers did they have at Sunderland? But yeah, I mean, lower down it's hard, and people get frustrated, and the manager can be going. It's not just the manager; it's the players as well. You can't blame everything on the managers. But at the top, I mean,
it's a tough. I
if
think
Arsenal
it's a tough.
start
It's
again
a tough
now,
league.
where
I think
did
it's
he
got
go?
tougher.
They're starting the same process again. That's the thing.
See, the Paddy Power odds for the next permanent Arsenal manager are Jose Mourinho at 5-2, Mikel Arteta 5-1, Patrick Vieira 6-1, Brendan Rodgers 7-1, and Freddie Ljungberg at 10-1. And just as a neutral observer, it would be entertaining if not necessarily the football, but it would be entertaining if Jose Mourinho went to Arsenal.
Do you reckon he'd take it?
Do you think he would?
I don't think he would.
I meant to be working with him in a few weeks. He needs to stick around for that.
It'll be his first choice, but he might as well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I won't say no.
I think he'd go Bayern Munich rather than
think you say no?
I'll say
Well, that's
no,
free
no.
now, isn't it?
I don't think that he will get a team in London.
I don't think it's his priority, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know. But because of his personality, he's very loyal. I see it very hard. Yeah.
Okay, I understand that.
That's it for this episode of Liquid Football on Joe together with Paddy Power. Thanks very much to Wes Brown, Luis Garcia and to Wayne Bridge. Liquid Football will be back next Monday, except that there's going to be the live version which will be released later this week. The show itself is on Thursday. Have a great time if you're going to Liverpool to watch that, and then listen out for the podcast if you can't make it. Download the podcast from the usual places or watch us on YouTube, and then leave a nice review on iTunes if you like what you hear. We've also got a Facebook page as well. Search for Liquid Football. You can get involved with the chat there. And you can check out our other shows. House of Rugby with James Haskell, TKO with Carl Frampton, and Pioneers with John Amici. For now, though, enjoy the live show if you're off there, and thanks for listening.
You've been watching Liquid Football on Joe, sponsored by Paddy Power.